Hello and welcome to our Advanced Screenwriting for Media project course. Today we on the week number 9, lectures 17 and 18, and what we will discuss is legal and professional aspects of screenwriting. So today in this presentation we will explore the legal and professional aspects of screenwriting, covering topics such as copyrights, contracts, and ethical considerations. Actually, especially on the part of screenwriting and finishing your script, the next step is thinking about copyright, making some contracts, and previously like to think about ethical considerations of your product. Previously, we discussed on production processes for media projects, like how it can affect your production. And here, I think a big important topic, we also discuss it on our practice hours, how to be successful writer, but also how to avoid different cases of harmful effects of writing in terms of legal aspects. So let's start, let's dive in. Here, firstly, what we will discuss is copyright and intellectual property rights in screenwriting. So let's see, let's dive in. So firstly, ownership. So writer typically owns the copyright, but work for hire arrangements can alter ownership. And in Kazakhstan, when you're working with like Khabar or Kazakhstan, big governmental channels, what they will do, they will completely buy the rights for their own. Even like if you write full, like very professional script, it will be like it will win Oscar and so on and so on. Still, the rights, Kazakhstan or Khabar, they will buy it from you, and ownership will be for channel, not for you. So here is the first sad reality of different production companies and production films, shows, that ownership is not there, not productions. Ownership is for channel, and they just buy it from you at the beginning. The next one is protection. So registration with the US Copyright Office provides legal proof of ownership. Here in Kazakhstan, we have CAS patent. But unfortunately, what you need to do is to buy like patent from them, copyright. But still, at some points, it will not work for you again, as for example with Kazakhstan, because they want to own your product, your script, your film, and so on and so on. But here, in terms of protection, actually, even this way not work for you at some points. If you will try to do independent films, independent projects, it's okay. For example, I have about like 4 different legal proofs of ownership. So I bought patent, they checked my script, and they said, yes, it's like no plagiarism. IDI Darbekov is after of these TV shows, of these films. But it's just paper in my files. So right now, for example, I'm not using it as a protection or as an ownership. The next one is infringement. It's unauthorized use of copyrighted material can lead to legal action. So here you need to understand that sometimes if you use ChatGPT in your writing or someone's book, someone's story, they can sue you if they have ownership, if they have protection of their story. So unfortunately, by infringement, what you need to think, you need to clear the rights, or you need to discuss with these ownerships. So on our practice hours, we discussed, yes, with some of your group mates, like someone want to write story based on Red Dead Redemption game, but all of the rights they are for Rockstar Games, so they will not allow you to make this movie, or like you need to pay them billions of dollars to make this story. Or same, like for example, if you want to write story about Ilya Ilyin or Elena Rybakina, Khairat Nurtas, it's impossible if you will not discuss it with them. Only when they will authorize it, only when they will say it's okay and legally you will have this document where, for example, Khairat Nurtas said, yes, for sure, Idea Aiderbekov can write a biography about me and can produce film about me. Only then, if you legally have this document, you can do this. But in other case, they will just sue you, and you will be in a bad situation. Unfortunately, it is how law works. The next one is fair use. So limited exceptions exist for educational research and transformative uses. So here, in terms of using, at some point you can use it, but it needs to be proof that it's, for example, for only educational or like for research uses. So you need to show proof that you're not making many money on it. You're not doing its commercial project. It's just for, again, for example, educational part. So for I just mentioned like Ilya Ilyin or Khairat Nurtas, but it was in terms of educational process. So I hope they will not sue me because of it. But if again I will write whole story, 3-act structure, and so on and so on, and I will want to sell it, make money on it, then for sure they can sue me. They can show that they protected by law. It's their story, it's their life, and I'm like trespassing this territory of legislation and intellectual property. So here is the cases how we can avoid it. Firstly, again, we all love Harry Potter, but you can't like write story about Harry Potter as character of your project and just without approval of Warner Brothers, of J.K. Rowling, just create film based on Harry Potter story. It's not working because we have intellectual property rights and copyrights. Okay, next one, let's move on. So, screenwriter contracts and negotiation strategies. So, types of contracts. In the United States, they have different guilds, like how it works. Unfortunately, in Kazakhstani case, it's not working. But in future, maybe, who knows? So, for example, in the United States, they have Writer Guilds Association. Its guild and independent contracts offer varying levels of protection. So option agreements allow studios to secure rights while developing a project. So how it works in the United States? So they have minimum wage for writers, for actors, and so on and so on. And this guild, for example, Writer Guilds of America, they looks at your contract when you make, for example, a contract with Netflix. Firstly, WGA, Writers Guild, they will check, okay, payment is good, all of the copyright is good, and so on and so on. And only after that, they authorize your contract. And then you'll be able to work with Netflix. Why it's needed? Because in the cases, if Netflix will do something wrong, if they will not pay you, if they will like stop just production. Writer guilds here will help you to make money to do agreements how it's stated in the document. But if you without guild will work with them, firstly, you will not work with them because in the United States it works only through guilds. But if the case like if you will agree with them, at some point, if something will happen, some situation or accident will happen not so good for you, Netflix just will not pay you money or like give you rights and so on and so on because it's not authorized through writer guilds, or it will be in your contract. So you need to check, is everything good, or is everything is okay. The next one is here again, yes, like for example, for Kazakhstan. Unfortunately, limited person knows that Kazakhstan, firstly, they will buy all of the ownership, all of the materials, copyrights, and so on and so on. And only after that, they will pay you money and you will produce a TV show and so on and so on. But still, even if you are director, writer, producer, and you won Oscar, still everything goes to Kazakhstan channel because they have ownership of this intellectual property. So unfortunately, how it works in Kazakhstan. So here we came to negotiation strategies. So understanding industry standards, researching comparable deals, and seeking legal advice are crucial. Compensation can include upfront fees, royalties, and back-end participation. So, for example, yes, the case with United States, why they made Hollywood like big working industry and machine, because everything works in terms of legally also. For example, today, if you will watch like TV show called Friends that was made like 20 years ago, money from your payment, like it will split and will go to creators, actors, and writers and actors of this project, even it was created like 20 years ago. For us, unfortunately, this kind of law doesn't work, but it's called royalty. So royalty, if you have in your agreement that you will get royalty from the product, even like, for example, if Kazakhstan will introduce this to our industry, I can make just one show, like hit show for Kazakhstan like 10 years ago, and still till today, I will get money if someone watching it, if Kazakhstan will show it on the TV, if they will sell it to other, for example, Netflix and so on and so on, I will get royalties as a money. But in future, maybe it will work, or it's like ideal world for Kazakhstan. But unfortunately, right now, I never heard about like case where Kazakhstani directors or actors they getting royalty from the productions. But for United States, it works like that. For example, even Leonardo DiCaprio, actor, he was paid like, for example, 10 million for his role. But after he can make a deal with royalties, and when this movie will show in film theaters, he will get like, for example, 1% from box office. And if it will be like million grossed movie, he will make more and more money. Again, fortunately, in Kazakhstan, I never heard about like royalties in film industry, but it good working strategy in music industry. So for music, you know, like Spotify, VK Music, Yandex Music, and so on and so on, they paying royalties when someone literally listen to songs of actors. Okay. Key clauses. So these include ownership rights, compensation, and dispute resolution. So good lawyer will help you understand the fine print and protect your interests. So here, again, you need to be very protective of your intellectual property and to work with, if a negative case will start to result will apply, you need to work with your lawyers maybe. And unfortunately, in Kazakhstan, we don't have so many lawyers who only specialized on authorship, on intellectual property. But here, the case, for example, I've heard about like 3 or 4 lawyers who only works in this field, but others they have other agreements, other works in law industry, but not working with intellectual property. And unfortunately, here is another minus in our industry, because again, in the United States, they have like special lawyers who only work with this kind of problems and these kind of cases. Okay, let's move on. So here, screenwriter guilds and professional associations. Again, as I said, in Kazakhstan, we still don't have any writers guild. Right now, I heard about cinematography league of Kazakhstan, but I don't think that they have legal agreements and legal authorities to work as an guild. But WGA, so Writers Guild of America, it's a union representing screenwriters, ensuring fair wages and working conditions. So there in the United States, actually, like the most working and professional guilds, they are in the United States. In Russian, probably heard профсоюзы, профессиональные союзы. So here is translation for guilds. International Screenwriters Association, ISA. It's a global organization promoting screenwriting excellence and networking opportunities. So unfortunately, this kind of guilds, associations, they don't have ability to work in different countries because different countries, they have different laws. And for example, it's okay and it's good if you will be a member of International Screenwriters Association, but if you will find a case or like problem in terms of legal moments, probably they will not help you. They will help you like on the international arena as like marketing, as producing, and so on and so on. But legally, in terms of law and legislation, unfortunately, it depends on country's own regulations and works. Okay, National Screenwriters Association, it's a non-profit organization focused on supporting and educating screenwriters. Here again, as you can see, mostly they are focusing on supporting and educating screenwriters, not making their laws, their helping them in terms of law. Here it's again mostly because internationally these guilds and associations, they don't have authority to work in, they don't have jurisdiction to work in different countries, especially by law of this country. Okay, let's move on. In terms of ethical considerations in screenwriting. So firstly, what you need to avoid is plagiarism. So avoiding plagiarism is crucial, even for inspirations. And if you will just not mention, yes, like for example, if you will try to create Red Dead Redemption film, but it will not be Red Dead Redemption, but Green Alive Redemption, yes, for example. Still, some of the lawyers, for example, if in the United States, they will see similarity, they will make analysis, and they will prove that this is plagiarism, and they will have ground to sue you. So it needs to be very protective and understandable. And here, like a case with Kazakhstani project, probably all of you at least heard about 532 Petrisba. It's a popular Kazakhstani TV show produced by Salem Social. And what they did, their creators, they just took some stories from the book of Asghar Jaldinov. And Asghar Jaldinov right now is head of Kazinform agency. And for him, like, because he had copyright and intellectual property ownership in this book, Тайны громких преступлений в Казахстане, and he has patent. So what he did, he just sued 532 producers, and he won this case. Why? Because again, he had this ownership authorship document from Kaspaten. But another case, why it was like controversial, because it was based on true story. It was based on real murders, on the real cases in Kazakhstan. So basically, Asghar Jaldinov don't have copyright on someone's life. Yes, someone's murder. But in terms of law, because he had this book based on these stories, and because probably mostly what researchers and screenwriters of 532 did, they maybe copyright, they did just plagiarism of his book, and because of it, the law was on the side of Asghar Jaldinov, and they just he won this case. So in terms of plagiarism, you need to be very careful based on the story that you're writing, and it's even like if you write it from your own mind, at some point, probably if it happens in real life, they can sue you again, and they will have some rights. So again, you need to be careful. The next one is fair use. So you need to understand limitations and seek permission when you using existing work. So, for example, case with me, I have producer Dauren Tolefanov, and he is a good friend with Ilya Ilyin, and we meet together. We discussed, okay, can we write story film about Ilya Ilyin? And he agreed. Even more, he agreed to be also producer of this project. And because of it, we just started to write story about him, script, and we produced it like full completed feature film script for about based on the story of Ilya Ilyin. And in terms of right and legislations, I, Ilya Ilyin, and producer Daulen Tolefanov, we have like copyright on this product because we work together. But for sure, it is the story and life of Ilya Ilyin. So he is like whole owner of this product. But as a writer, as a producer, we are part of this project. It's kind of like fair use. The next one is professionalism. So maintain confidentially, respect deadlines, and be transparent in your work. So again, in terms of professionalism, yes, you need to understand that you need to be very professional when you're working with these kind of stories that can affect someone's life or someone's property, someone's confidentiality. So again, this case with Asghar Jaldinov, the law was on his side because he has these patents, his copyrights. And 532 producer, their show was hit, but still they lose to Asghar Jaldinov because at some point they did plagiarism of his work. Okay, next one. So some legal implication of adaptation and derivative works. So here, in terms of adaptation, so obtaining rights to adapt existing works requires legal agreements, and derivative works, it's creating sequels, prequels, offsprings, requires permission and potential royalty payments. So here, another case, me and Davlen Talyukhanov, we worked on some of the projects of Sergei Lukyanenko. Probably you heard about Sergei Lukyanenko. He is a writer of the Nochnoi Dozor, Night Watch. And he agreed to give us some of his writings, and we did adaptation as screenwriting and as a short film. We produced it and we shot it in Los Angeles, but we did agreement on adaptation of his works, and that's why, for example, right now Sergei Lukyanenko or someone else not suing me, because we have document where he said, okay, you can make short film based on my story. It's okay. Another case, probably we will discuss it with you on our practice hours. It's Stephen King's $1 agreement. So what Stephen King doing? He allows everyone to shoot films or TV shows and so on based on his story, just only for $1. If it's not commercial project, if it's just short film, it's just like for educational purposes. But if it will start to be more commercial, then you need to pay more to Stephen King. So here is a case with adaptations. Each time you need to make some agreements and to pay for it. Same here for derivative works. Here, like if you want to create some sequel, prequel, spin-off, and so on, still you need to have permission. You need to discuss, you need to pay, you need to make some royalties to this company. Why? Because they have ownership, they have authorship. So you need to work, you need to understand that legally law will work on their side, not yours. Collaboration and teamwork in screenwriting. So here, what we need to discuss, yes, like on the previous topic, but here also, sometimes someone can bring your idea that can be like just plagiarism, or like he will read some book and he will suggest to make this scene, but it will be someone's property. So in terms of brainstorming, when you're generating ideas and you're exploring different story possibilities, you need to check, is everything clear in terms of copyrights? Outlining, so you need to structure the story and ensure a clear narrative arc. Writing, you need to divide writing task and work together on individual scenes. And revisions, here again, still you need to check. While you're providing feedback, you're making changes and refine the script. Is everything okay, like from the legal part? Is everything okay in terms of plagiarism? Because in teamwork, in collaboration, sometimes one of the member of your team, by the different obstacles, he can make something wrong. So you need to check. Okay, pitching and selling screenwriting projects. So here, like how we can, we discussed this. Firstly, you need to create logline, writing summary of the story. Then you need to work in terms of networking. So you need to build relationships with industry professionals. You need to have portfolio. You need to showcase your best writing samples, and elevator pitch, a brief, persuasive pitch delivers in a short time frame. So here, in terms of how we work, and part of our final project will be pitching and selling screenwriting projects. And I hope we will sell it successfully. Okay, and finally, some conclusion and key takeaways. So understanding the legal and professional aspects of screenwriting is essential for aspiring writers. By protecting intellectual property, navigating contracts, and adhering to ethical guidelines, writers can maximize their success. So each time, even if you're just writing your ideas, your brainstorming projects, still you need to check, is everything good from the legal part, from the ownership, and so on and so on. Okay, that's it. More we will discuss and we will practice on our practice hours. Goodbye and see you.